All right. Just checking in with you guys. And I wanted to have, kind of an open monologue, I guess it is, thinking through politics as it is right now in October 2020 in the United States. And I wanted to look through the lens of both the left, maybe we'll use the extreme left, and the right, the extreme right, and kind of see these two worlds that have manifested separately, and that pretty much half of the population follows one set of a narrative and the other population follows another narrative. There's no possibility really for communication of both sides because both feel they are absolutely right, and that if their world plays out, if their understanding of what the other side's positions are play out, then that would be the end of the republic. So both sides feel this and are 100% right that their beliefs are true. So let's explore them. Let's explore them a little bit here. So on the left, and we're going to use the rubric of Donald Trump here as his election in 2016 and kind of think through what happened there. So if you're on the left, let's say if you're on the more extreme side of the left, you feel that Donald Trump is a illegitimate president. And you feel that way because when he became president, he lost the popular vote. Hillary Clinton had millions more votes than he did. He did win the Electoral College. So you have to capitulate that, under the current system, he is technically our president, but he's illegitimate. The rules need to be changed so that this doesn't happen again. So the will of the people was not effectuated through the election, and we need to make changes in order for there to be a more fair and election that's based on the popular vote rather than this electoral college thing. You think that it is outdated. You feel that Trump leveraged the worst angels of our nature by inflaming and sensationalizing immigration, othering foreigners and immigrants to a point where he was even for keeping kids in cages, right? So this president who was not elected by the people and was cohorting with Vladimir Putin from Russia. Russia is our big enemy. They interfered in the 2016 election, and their interference, along with Donald Trump's capitulation and participation in this interference, led to what is essentially a coup by Trump and Russia, and they have hypnotized a cult-like following, Trump's base, and that these people are hypnotized by the rhetoric from Donald Trump, which is probably led by, again, Putin. And the reason for this is that Putin has dirt on Trump, and it is probably a P-tape or some kind of sexual debauchery that Trump was filmed at when he was at a hotel in Russia, and Putin has that on him. And he also has business deals with Russia that he is not disclosing because he is not showing his taxes. So after Trump was elected, you saw that when he came into power, he has been a tyrant and a bully throughout his tenure. He intends to take away pre-existing conditions for sick people. He wants to eliminate the Affordable Care Act, knocking 100 million, 20 million people off of their insurance during a pandemic. He was impeached because he bribed a Ukrainian leader in order to leverage dirt on his political opponent, Joe Biden. He was impeached for that. I mean, come on. We have a president that's been impeached. We have a president who was not elected by the people, who created a kind of farce and a fraud by joining Russia in this disinformation campaign. and he needs to be voted out or taken out in any way possible. Look, during COVID, which he handled horribly, right? I mean, 210,000 plus people, the blood is on his hands. He had a conversation with President Xi in February and knew the intricacies of this virus and didn't tell anybody. And he kept that to himself. So he's also talked negatively about the military folks. I mean, look what he said with John McCain and this news story that came out with him saying that he feels that the people that died in terms of military are losers. I mean, come on. What kind of animal is this person? How could other people, buy into this fraud, this con man? So again, I'm painting a picture of what someone on the more extreme left kind of thinks. So they watch CNN and MSNBC. And it's obvious that these and I'm speaking again through this lens, that these very smart people on MSNBC, they have an intellect and they can see right through this con. So watching MSNBC makes the most sense. And obviously because of his rhetoric, especially during Charlottesville, where he said both sides are good people, he is literally saying that white supremacists are good people. He won't disavow white supremacists. He's actually mobilizing white supremacists and militias across this country to create havoc during the peaceful protests that are being done for racial justice. Now, he's obviously a racist because because the way that he does not condemn the police are obviously corrupt through and through and need to be defunded and abolished. That will set us on the appropriate course to reinvest the funds that we give to the police to more community activist, social worker type groups that can come in without weapons and de-escalate situations. If Trump wins, he is going to continue this path of despotism and he's going to be a dictator. Even if he loses, he will not leave office. And therefore, we see what he's doing with the mail-in ballots. He's casting aspersions to a process that there's no evidence that there's any fraud under. There's no evidence. We've done mail-in voting for so many years. And he is just using this. And he's not going to leave if he loses. He's not going to leave office. Yeah, it's his choice to do so. And he's not going to leave office. So he needs to be stopped, and any measures necessary, violence or otherwise, are appropriate because of the nature of this evil man. All right, so that's an extreme position, but you'd be surprised as to how many people hold that position, that actual position, right? So let's look at the right's position a little bit, an extreme right position on the last 5 years with regards to Donald Trump and COVID and what have you. So Trump was a duly elected president, and he destroyed not only the Republican machine, but also the Democratic machine with Hillary Clinton. So he destroyed the Bush dynasty and short-circuited the Republican machinery by sweeping a primary that he was absolutely sure, the media class and the commentator class was absolutely sure he was going to lose. So he won the primary, and then he won the election, defeating a career professional politician in Hillary Clinton. And in doing so, he threw a wrench in in the deep state's continued intentions to move towards globalization and to integrate the United States into a global kind of government. And that's what he stopped. And they are not going to stop until they destroy him. Not only that, when he was elected, you saw that there was a coup by the deep state, by the intelligence community to overthrow a duly elected president. They hatched a plan to entrap Michael Flynn, his incoming national security advisor, and they used illegal means in obtaining wiretaps, and they used illegal means in obtaining warrants through the FISA court by lying and holding back information, and were doing everything they could to frame Trump as some sort of Russian asset, as some sort of colluder with Putin, which couldn't be anything further from the truth. Trump is a thorn in the side of the establishment. The establishment is comprised of all of the media corporations, the 6 major media corporations that control the information that is distributed to the populace, whether that's through CNN, MSNBC, all of the online news outlets, even on social media, and with the allyship with big tech and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. There's obviously a large group of which is called the establishment, that's led by evil people that are looking to destroy the American way of life. They're looking to destroy the American economy. And what happened with COVID-19 is that this, and again, this is, I'm putting forth a worldview, not my worldview and not the worldview that I think is correct. Just the idea, we're looking through the red movie. We addressed the blue movie. We're going to look through the red movie here. And in this red movie, the evil villain is the globalist, is the global cabal that is made up of very nefarious and evil Luciferian characters whose goal is to obtain power by destroying the largest barrier to their power, which is the United States. And there is a alliance between Beijing and the deep state to leverage the coronavirus, which was obviously created in a lab and distributed throughout the world, and more intensely in the United States, in order for there to be a massive shutdown, which was inaugurated by the WHO, whose biggest donor is Bill Gates, who is a software engineer who is somehow now responsible for the health and well-being of the human population on the earth. So what we're seeing now is Donald Trump is the only one that is standing in the way of this large system of taking over the American political system through means of socialism and communism, which is trying to be entrenched and instantiated by social justice policies. And we see this with regards to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and their capitulation to this far left radical contingent that is destroying cities, that is destroying statues. They are really looking to crumble and destruct what makes America America. They are doing that by destroying what we identify with as Americans, statues, flags, and they're doing this both physically and violently on the streets, but also intellectually and corporately by leveraging corporations to join in this conspiracy to destroy the West by knocking out its strongest pillar, the United States. They're doing this by dividing the country, by pitting the civilians, the population against each other. They're using socialist and communist means to find the biggest pain points in this country, and that is race relations. And they are taking what was a functioning and continuously progressing situation with regards to race relations and are artificially making it worse by claiming systemic racism that is ill-defined, and they're using these tactics to to usurp the government and come into power. So if they come into power, that will be the end of the republic. Okay, that is the far right position, or the right position. We talked about the left position. So let's think through this, right? So how could we make sense of these two very extreme positions? Again, both sides are 100% sure in their position, and they are 100% sure that if the other candidate wins, that it will be the end of the republic.